Welcome to the Wicked Radio Network.
Introducing the art of watching television. The Sony Betamax lets you record and see what you want when you want. To summon into your home a world of wonder. And a feature called Beta Scan lets you scan forward and reverse to quickly find any image. Betamax transforms the act of watching television into an art.
Your show is about to begin.
Recorded to you live from Aquaman's Jacuzzi. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. Hello, hello, hello. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. We're back again, kids. This is the show that gets freaky with the geeky. I bring some friends around. I'm Bill, and this is my friend Dom.
What's up? What's up?
This is my friend Ed.
Hey.
And there's my brother Bob. That was the guy on the guitar.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, guys. Prove it. Oh, look at that. Live. That was a live thing he did for you. Do you feel special?
Good morning, everybody.
Attention, class.
Or afternoon.
Class is in session.
Evening.
That, too.
Whenever you're listening to this.
Shit, Ed. You got you covered all the bases.
Yep.
That was
Except
thorough.
midnight snack time.
I was literally about to say, just covering them all my bases.
But Bob's right, though.
You didn't cover midnight snack time. With the warm glass of milk and the cookies.
That's true.
Could Aquaman survive in a jacuzzi?
That's a good question,
Well,
right?
yes, I think he could. If it was a jacuzzi that had air, so that his lower half was just in air, and his upper body was still in water. Much like we put our asses in water and our upper half is in air.
I get what you're saying. It's like the flip side. It's a reversal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Would that thing, because I was thinking before we started the show, would that thing actually be filled with air so that when he farted in the jacuzzi,
I got you.
the smell wouldn't come into the water, into his breathable atmosphere, so to speak?
So like if you were in Atlantis and there's a jacuzzi in there, it's not
Right.
filled with water. It's
No,
filled
it would
with air.
have to be filled with something else, right?
I think you guys are really overthinking this. Let's just
Are
say
you sure?
yes.
Are you sure? We're
Yeah,
overthinking it?
let's just say yes.
'Cause I think we can get another 20 minutes out of it.
Come on, let's get the guys from Big Bang Theory involved.
I-
here.
you know,
let's
I-
call
you
up
know,
Sheldon and let's see.
I
What's
think
going on.
I think we have some more pressing concerns, and by that we mean we have a huge show.
I
ahead
think
for you
to answer
folks.
Dom's
Yeah,
question, which was
it's got a point.
is that yes, he would cook like a fish in a real Earthside jacuzzi.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would get some Aquaman fillets.
Right. Cool. Good.
Okay, I just wanted to
All
finish
right,
that.
good.
Okay. All right. What were you saying? There was some official stuff. There was
I was saying we got a big show ahead of us.
we do. Should I talk about it?
Yeah, I think that's
Okay. I wasn't sure. All right, so this is going to be a special episode. We're breaking out from the regular format. We're going to do something crazy. We're going to do a fall TV report cards, kid. We're going to kids. We are going to go through all the crap we've been watching for the last several months, and we're going to tell you if it was any good or if it was crap and it flunked out. Official business, real quick, kids. Subscribe, rate, and review. We just lost a light bulb. That threw me off. Good thing it
We are
didn't explode.
experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Where can they subscribe, rate, and review us?
You can subscribe, rate, and review us on any service that allows you to do those things, because some do and some don't, and I know like you can do that on the Apple stuff.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure you can do that on Stitcher. But, different people listen to us on different services. They might be listening to us on Player FM or Clamor or even the Wicked Radio Network or Tangent Bound Network. Any one of these places. There's so many places.
You know what I love? I love the reviews
Yeah.
that are like totally negative, but they still give you a 5-star rating.
That's
I think,
nice.
I think that's beautiful.
It's like, I hate this show, but I hate it so much. I thought I was supposed to grade my hate. So I have 5 stars of hate. Maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, so do that, kids. Subscribe, rate, and review. Blah 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 blah. Check out Preacher versus Preacher. That's the other podcast we're doing. We're trying to get that going for when that show's Preacher starts on AMC.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Really want to know what Steph's doing with those books. I believe she's reading them, but she's actually putting a lag between herself and these episodes of this show because we're a little spoilery, which is fine and fair because we are. I think we have to be honest about it. We are a spoilery kind of show. We try and throw out the warnings, but sometimes they don't come. It's like, spoiler, he died. It's kind of like that. You know what I mean? So it can feel like that, I think.
Well, I also think, I will say, as a listener, I find it very beneficial that you put time codes in the show notes.
Oh, can I get some feedback on it? Is that actually helping at all?
My sister has told me she appreciates that.
Does she really?
Much. Yes.
She's like, I just want to hear when Ed's talking. So if you could just time code whenever Ed says something. No, but that's cool. I mean, because actually, not to give him a plug because, he's always around. But that was Agent Palmer's recommendation because he's a couple of shows he listens to do it. Mm-hmm. And he was recommending a couple to me, and I'm like, yeah, but I thought those guys were like really sports. He's like, yeah, but they put time codes. You should do that. Mm-hmm. It's like you could just skip to whatever you really wanted to if you didn't want to sit through all the football talk. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Like especially if I'm doing stuff that's like kind of spoilery.
Yeah, if we're talking about Doctor Who and you just want to jump to where we talk about LeBron James, there we go.
Well, I've been using it in the tweets too. I wonder if it's been helping. But to hear some actual human feedback is amazing. We don't get that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, thanks, Ed.
Yeah, this kind of thing could actually help with that too, because it would maybe make it easier for people to be able to refer to comments they want to put in emails, things like that.
Well, that would help too. Like this way we could actually jump back if we weren't sure what the hell they were talking about.
Right.
So anyway, that's good stuff. Appreciate that your sister's listening and jumping in to and fro inside and using those time codes.
Probably won't even hear you say thank you, but
yeah, because she's jumping around.
Yeah.
She'll never know. So we're going to skip the emails and stuff this week, much to the chagrin of Ed and Agent Palmer. But if you at home... It happens. We're doing a special thing here this week. But if you at home want to send us an email, send it to podcast@wickedtheory.com because that's what we do. We do a podcast, and it's at wickedtheory.com.
We do.
I try to make it easy for people to remember, but they don't seem to be sending them. So maybe someone should send some. If you like this episode, send one. If you think I'm stalling too long, send one. All right. So, anyway, how do you feel about this lineup we got here? We got a bunch of shows. You know how many shows we got looking at here, there, Dominic? Do you know how many shows you're looking at?
I'm going to go and...
give me a rough guess real quick.
24.
Oh, damn, bro. You're off by one. 23 shows, if my last count was correct. But I'm not good with math. And technically, counting is math. But, so, on here, basically, how we're going to break it down is that, there's a bunch of shows that we know. They already kind of... they're dead in the water already. Mm-hmm. They're either already canceled or we just fell out of love with them.
We don't care.
We just don't care. We thought we would care. Mm-hmm. We wanted to care.
Yes.
But in the end, they made it hard for us to care. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So these are some shows that flunked outright this season. This past, this is mostly the last run of fall TV shows.
Yeah, and one of those I actually watched all the way through to the winter.
Oh, you did?
Finale, yeah.
Oh.
And by the time I got to that last one, I was like, all right, I'm just going to watch it so that I've watched them all.
So let's start with that. What is that, Heroes Reborn you're talking about?
Yeah.
All right. So to actually get some feedback on how bad that was, I'm glad somebody actually finished watching it because I did not.
Yeah.
Did anybody else besides Bob catch the whole thing on that?
Well, I got to tell you.
I think that speaks volumes to...
It might. It might.
See, people were looking at me like I had 12 heads when I said that I wasn't interested in Heroes Reborn. And, it might have something to do with the fact that I remember the original Heroes. And,
I actually recall.
I got to tell you, the first season of that show is amazing. Yes. And for a 22-episode arc, boom. That's exactly what you want out of a TV show.
Right, that was a textbook, what you want to do.
And then just, oof.
Then the network got involved.
It just, I believe, not that we guys here are huge fans of Big Bang Theory, but I believe Sheldon Cooper summed it up best in saying that Heroes became less and less interesting until no one cared anymore.
I think I might have actually seen him drop that line. Mm-hmm. But that's exactly what happened. The point being that Ed makes a good point. Like, we all kind of were kind of like, oh, maybe this is going to come back in a good way, or maybe it'll kind of recatch its wonder, at least for a little while. But it just, to me, it felt like slipping into an old pair of shoes that I thought I threw out.
Right.
It's like, oh.
I mean, if you would have came back, it would have been like,
why.
Oh crap! You got, not only do we have like people in this world, you actually like, some of them actually are flying around in suits and doing the superhero thing.
Okay.
Something to like elevate and evolve the concept beyond where it went.
Fair
initially.
point.
Something.
Because even though some time is supposed to have passed, and the world's supposed to be more aware and stuff like that, and maybe they just didn't give it to me enough up front. Yeah. But I didn't really kind of buy all that.
And it's weird because that concept is so of the time that it came out in 2006, 2007. Marvel, Iron Man hadn't happened yet, so
it's living in like this whole X-Men kind of mutants.
So people weren't really used to costumed heroes yet, and we're in a world now where there are about a half dozen other shows where people running around in costumes and superheroes are just a normal thing.
Yeah, it's blasé now.
Yeah.
Well, it's fair enough. You know what I mean? It had a lot stacked against it, and they just really didn't. It felt very rehashed. It didn't feel like they were really trying to do anything new.
Right. They didn't bring back enough of the good characters. The ones that they brought back weren't strong enough to become primary characters.
Or just, they didn't do anything with them to make them that.
Has it been officially canceled, or is it just kind of like...
It's canceled in my heart, Ed.
Okay, that's all that matters.
I think it's canceled at the fucking table, and that's what matters right now. Not for nothing.
I mean, I would like for it to actually finish the story arc.
Oh, okay, just close the door.
I don't think it's gonna.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Just because, it'd be nice to see it finish that story.
They left. I'm sure it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it was the winter...
sure.
The winter finale, so yeah, it was just.
Did you care enough? I don't
know.
Even on the cliffhanger itself, it was like
I had it playing, and I was playing my guitar the whole time.
I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention.
I'm being honest.
That's fair enough. That says it all.
I went into it thinking, all right, I'll watch it to finish it.
Right? Yeah. So another one that let me down a little bit was The Player. With Wesley Snipes.
I actually watched a whole 2 episodes of this.
So did I. Whoa, slow down.
Yeah,
slow down.
Just to be fair, I watched a lot of pilots this year and turned them off halfway through. So
I turn off pilots all the time, and those guys hate me for it. Wait, what? No, separate thing.
That's the way you look in the Speedo, Bill.
I'm not surprised. So... I mean, what was the deal? I mean, do we care enough to even go on about it? I mean, I really felt like, we were going to get a little bit more Wesley being a badass.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, Wesley Snipes is the most interesting actor on screen, and he doesn't do anything in the whole show. Right. He just stands there.
Just plain and simple, the show sucked. I mean, there's
there's a lot of different ways you can go, because even the setup and the storyline.
We could go on and on and talk about how they should have, involved Wes.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to dig too deep.
No, I'm just saying, like, we can go on and on about how, like, we all wanted more Wesley Snipes. You know what I mean? Like,
because that's basically what it comes down to with that, I think.
It just,
I thought he was going to be the main guy.
The lead actor on that show was a fucking atrocity.
Yeah.
So what was it like? I mean, I'm getting an image like that. It was kind of like back in the 70s and early 80s when the Hulk, you'd look for the Hulk to come out twice a show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what happens with Wesley. He comes out twice an episode. Does his
kind
Hulk,
of. It was like he sets it up, and then like he's like the big boss man. Like, the main character kind of like answers to or gets tasks and assignments from. So it's like
very much.
So he's like a male version of what's her name on Scandal.
He's like the male version of any other character that's been that character. You know what I mean? He's the chief. Yeah. He's the chief of police.
It's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone goes and does it. Then he walks back in. Yeah, and he's like, I took care of things.
At the end of the episode, he's got the moral.
He's very much like William Shatner in Tech War.
If you want to get, hey man, nothing says it better than that.
Yeah, that reference, like, I don't think anybody was going to get.
Oh, one person is going to get it.
If 2 other people at this table got it,
I'm hoping it's Adrian Palmer, but we'll see.
At the very least,
I think I watched 2 episodes of that show.
All I needed was William Shatner in Tech War, and that's basically all I need to know. just in general, like I'll believe the rest of that, whatever it might have been. So, also, Limitless was one that. I don't know.
I actually didn't even check out the pilot.
I didn't care enough about it to even care about it when I saw the bus drive by with the ad on it.
My parents are still watching it.
That says something. CBS has got them pretty good about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did Mom and Dad watch a lot of CBS?
Blue Bloods, Hawaii Five-0. Big Bang Theory, Mom. Ouch. NCIS. NCIS New Orleans.
If you took all the buttons.
Not NCIS Los Angeles. I don't know.
They don't like LA. It's scary. It scares them. So they're not that
Ed, if you took all the buttons off the remote control except for the 2, would that really bother them at all?
Probably. Well, no, because they could still use up and down.
Damn it.
Well, you got to take those, too.
Will they even notice?
My dad's crafty. You don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know. He'll get up off the couch.
Those are gone, Ed. If the 2 is there, that's it.
So, Dom was catching benders.
Yeah, so Benders was a show on IFC. Obviously, IFC is a really like under the radar channel, so it really didn't get much publicity.
Oh, is this the hockey show?
It actually used to be a lot cooler than that network. I used to get on that network every Saturday morning and watch a bunch of Japanese movies.
There you go.
Well, it's funny. It's the independent film channel, and yet every time I turn it on, they got like Lethal Weapon.
No, you're right. They do.
Because now it's independently owned by a major network.
It's movies about guys who feel really independent, and they have an independent spirit. It's more about that. But all right, yeah.
Cops,
I mean, I guess
cops that don't listen to orders.
That's right. They gotta do what they want.
That's right.
Like a true independent.
Yeah. So this show is, for anyone who doesn't know, I played hockey pretty much my whole life. Sorry. When I saw the commercial and everything for the show, I was like, this show is my life. Like fucking.
I relate a little too much to this, but it was funny as fuck. I watched the first episode, or that one episode we watched online, and I think I caught another one.
Well, yeah. So it's about like a group of guys that are 4 or 5 guys, I think, that are close friend group.
Is it strange? I feel that same way about Baskets. Just saying.
Baskets.
I don't know.
Zach Galifianakis' new show.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, that's on that channel also, right?
No, it's on FX. But I'm just saying, by the trailers, I'm like, this is my life.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right, because he is a he answers phones, right?
No, no, not at all. No,
I didn't know where you were going with that. I
was making a joke because of how outlandish and crazy he is in that, and is really nothing like me. I hope.
I got nervous. I'm like, I don't even know if Dom knows enough about either one of these things
and the
to
fact
finish this joke.
And the fact that we keep asking, I think, is making it less and less funny. So let's move on. Benders.
Yeah, so Benders is about just a group of guys that play on a men's league hockey team together.
Sure.
It mocks their lives as mediocre, middle class guys, young, mid-20s, early 30s.
But they're all a bunch of
fucking burnouts.
Like who's got it? No one's got it together. They're all
it's just a bunch of misfits that are still playing hockey,
right.
And they suck at it. They probably only picked it up a few years ago.
A couple of them are married, this kind of thing. But I really thought it was funny. It was actually it's one of these ones that we're like, when I'm looking at this list, it's like I wish I caught more of that.
Well, I watched about like the first 7 or 8 episodes, I want to say, until I just completely
forgot about it.
Just got so pissed off at the show and just couldn't watch it anymore.
Really?
I just can't do it.
Morally, it offended you?
It just the inner hockey player in me is just like I can't watch the show anymore.
I feel like I want to know more about that for some reason.
Well, there's virtually nothing
about hockey
in the show anymore. It was the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes where they get some random guy off the street to come in and play on their men's league team for one night, and then they go to the bar that night, and they don't know where he is at the end of the episode, and then they find out that he died because he was. I don't know what to say here actually because it's extremely.
Well, just
people. It's vulgar.
Skip over it, but point being that the guy dies.
Yeah.
But so now, as far as the show goes, so they really weren't sticking to the hockey stuff as much.
No.
So what was it? Just set up for the beginning, pre-credits. They're all on the bench.
Yeah, it's the episode. The episode ends with them on the ice. Doing
it's not
some
really about hockey.
Shit.
It's about friendship.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I mean.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like they use the hockey to set up
and
episodes.
that's cool. That's cool and all, obviously. But I was kind of expecting it to be more like.
It almost sounds like a combination of Stand By Me and Scooby Doo.
Okay, I guess.
I will officially say not at all.
I guess.
No, I mean the description is like, okay, there's a bunch of guys who they basically, instead of discovering the body, they got to their friend is the body, and then so instead they become.
Well, I mean, yeah. Anyway,
okay,
let's skip it. Point being,
so Benders.
So I can't.
Thought it was going to be good.
So edit it out.
Thought it was going to be good. Ended up being fucking pretty shitty.
All right.
Not watching it anymore.
Gave up.
Flunked.
What about Once Upon a Time? You used to like this show. Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time, I used to love that show.
Once Upon a Time, it was good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean Fables?
Exactly.
Fables, the TV series?
Exactly. Well, Fables Light.
Yeah, well,
Fables Disney version.
Mm-hmm. Fables is a comic book that many people say, for those listening that don't know, Fables is a comic book that's been coming out from Vertigo /DC for a long time that many people say is like basically the whole concept is exactly the same. It's mostly lifted,
I mean,
but it's all
just the fact that ABC had a Fables TV show in development about 10 years ago.
And then suddenly, and some people are still remotely involved are the same people. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's not stealing. Yeah. Anyway, but no good.
I mean, I think
more.
everyone knows what the show's about, so I don't really got to get into it.
Skin and kids.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And his buddies.
But the show always had that like tongue-in-cheek, very
slightly campy or very campy,
aspect to it, which was kind of forgivable at points because they would do some cool shit every once in a while, and I stuck with the show because I like Disney, obviously. I think most people do, and I thought it was very unique and interesting spin on a lot of the characters that I grew up watching cartoons of and shit like that. A
lot of good twists and shit.
Right, exactly. And even though it was on ABC, it was on at 8:00, and it was a Disney show. It wasn't very, and as campy as it wasn't like so childish or
right.
They did some they did like some violent shit.
They played it straight.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did some violent shit every once in a while, which was also cool to see.
Right.
But this season right now, it's just the plot is just so convoluted with so much fucking content.
Well,
and shit
I remember thinking. And I don't watch the show regularly. I just will dip in and out every once in a while if there's nothing on a Sunday night.
It's not an easy show to do that with, because it's very fucking.
But I remember hearing when they were going to introduce the Frozen characters and being like, nah,
that's surprisingly that really wasn't that bad.
But then I flipped on and I flipped it to an episode once. I don't know if this is this season or last season. I saw Cruella de Vil and I'm like, this person does not belong here.
Right now
it's a great character, Well, everyone loves 101 Dalmatians, but
well, Fievel comes next season, I think. No,
that's not Disney.
American Tail? No, that's not Disney.
That's Don Bluth.
Shit,
it's the guy that said "fuck you" to Disney. I'm going to do my own shit.
Therefore, Fievel's coming. All right, but
no. So I think pretty much after the second season, every season since they've tried to bring whether it's a hero or a villain. At least 2 or 3 really popular Disney characters onto the show,
right?
Just for that season alone, really, just to give the fans some interesting.
Here's what this would feel like. Here's a little taste of it.
With the amazing Mr. Limpet.
Bobby Generational again.
All right. I said that one on purpose. Dig that one up. That's actually
okay. All right. That's
really bad, like a really bad one to put in something like that. So it actually would be really.
Is that with Don Knotts? Is that the one with Don Knotts and the fish thing?
Yes, when he gets knocked into the water. And he helps a dolphin.
I remember the sequel where he goes into space.
Got stuck in a little nostalgia machine right there. Sorry, folks. Fucking.
Remember that being on weekend?
Yeah, I was just watching it just now in my head, like 20 fucking scenes
with the
before my
cartoon version
eyes.
of Don Knotts' head on the dolphin,
fish, and it looks
like 30 years
into the water.
Yeah,
so who were the villains for this season?
I really didn't get too far into it to. No, I don't really know if they released yet the major villain for the rest of the season, but I think this season actually actually no, I do know who it was because the main character Emma Swan, you probably know from watching it every once in a while, the blonde chick, you might see her on the posters and everything.
Okay. She used to be in
very
House.
good looking blonde girl. Exactly. She's always been this savior, as they like to call it, type of character on the show, and she's the main protagonist.
Right.
Now this season she at the very end of last season she got consumed with the dark with the dark side pretty much.
She ate the bad apple pie,
and now she's one of the main villains in the show, and they consider her the dark one.
She's the one that they prophesized about.
Yes.
Oh no.
They prophesized about her being good, and now
she's going to bring balance to the forest.
She went from being their Luke to their Darth.
It's funny though because now people always ask the showrunners and everything now that Disney owns Star Wars. Any chance we can get some Star Wars characters on the show?
Shoehorn these fucking.
And they were like, oh my god, we love Star Wars so much, we'd love to do that, but they were like, I don't think that these guys would fit into the Once Upon a Time universe.
It's when people are now Marvel and Spider-Man can be in the same movie now. I mean, not Marvel, but
Marvel and Spider-Man.
Marvel and Spider-Man. Actually, they're going to finally be in the same movie together in a way.
Captain Marvel and Spider-Man.
Eventually,
you know what I mean?
Shazam and Spider-Man.
But no, that'll never happen. But I meant
Star Wars and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Luke and Spider-Man.
Luke and Spider-Man. Luke and Spidey. Luke and Peter.
All right, so
Peter.
That's about it right there for the Flunked.
That is the guarantees of Flunkdom.
That's 5 shows out of how many? 23.
23
that we could think of. That's actually.
And
that's pretty good odds, I think, for the fall 2015.
Yeah, I will say some of the shows going forward, we are going to give some mixed reviews.
Right, absolutely. Okay. And, this isn't everything that came out either. This is just the stuff that's been on
our radar.
On our radar, absolutely, in our watchosphere.
Okay. So this is D and above.
So, so for the next bunch now, we're going to go into the stuff that we kind of liked, and this stuff we'll actually give actual grades to. So some of it's stuff that we watched, maybe not even hit the mid-season finale yet. But we're going to break it down anyway because Tough Titties, this is the time of year that we're doing this. So even, You got more episodes and cool shit coming. Too bad. I don't care about the
This
big,
is what we think right now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about that big bad guy that you cast that I know was coming that's going to change the whole thing for the better. Or I'm hoping anyway. And that you did something stupid before that, though. I'm not letting you get away with it.
What?
Sorry.
Huh?
I fell asleep, too.
What?
So first up on the list is Into the Badlands. Is anybody still watching Into the Badlands?
No.
I am.
I never watched
Never
it.
started.
Okay, so it's between me and you here, buddy. So here's the thing, man. Like, I kind of gave up on it. I give it kudos and credit for, like, you know, trying to be its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I can only go to you to ask you, how is it holding up now? Because I touched base with episodes 2 and 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't finish them, but
I think it's visually it's stunning.
Me too.
I love all the action scenes, the martial arts scenes.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is I think the female characters on the show are very, like the widow, and the doctor, and then the two wives who are going back and forth with the Baron. Those characters are all very well developed,
all right,
and interesting and engaging. And the guys in the show kind of fall flat, especially the lead, which is weird because you want your lead to be grounded.
But he seems like a little bit of a stiff kind of
Standing
actor.
martial arts kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Which you know, with a lot of characters in this genre tend to be, you know, a little flat.
Oh yeah, well
yeah.
I think they're relying on...
It's all about the macho in this, though.
Yeah, well, it's also
you're not going to get a lot of
you know,
Olivier.
The focus is you're trying to serve the visual storytelling. Mm-hmm. And you want your acting to be a little bit more reserved and controlled and not getting in the way. So he's not overacting and stuff. And you know, I think the story itself is interesting. I just wish you can get a little bit more out of the male characters.
Well,
and
right.
I'd like that Baron to be a little bit more.
So if you had to
menacing.
give it a grade, then Chumley, A, B, C, or D?
Are we doing plus and minus?
Sure.
Because I would probably give it like a B minus.
B minus. All right, that's fair. I'd give it a C myself. Mm-hmm. But since we're the only two watching, we're the only two that can say anything about it. These other two, they can just watch. They can watch us. There you go. Now, Dom's the only one watching Grimm. Mm-hmm. So I think he's the only one who's going to be able to officially be able to say, I'll give it a grade. So how's it holding up for you, buddy?
The show is... It's... Every season after season just makes my...
It keeps getting better?
Just completes my hopes and dreams.
Really? Because, I'll tell you what, I did see that they must have done some big kind of twisteroo.
Well, I actually fucking didn't even watch yesterday's episode
yet. Let me tell you,
the Twitter account spoiled it for me.
Did it really?
It did.
Those bastards.
I actually
their own Twitter.
I had to make a comment to the Twitter account. I said, "Fuck you," pretty much. Like,
did you really? Oh yeah. You let them know.
I mean, but to sum it up, a main character died at the end of last season. Now this season, in the mid-season finale, boop, she comes back, boop, and the Twitter account just thinks that it's okay to just fucking say Juliet is back. I didn't know
you did. Just now, I didn't see it yet. Juliet's back.
I didn't see it yet either. That's how I know.
That's true. Fair enough. Right. No, yeah. They should probably have kept. But like, what was it? One of these things like the moment it happened, they live posted right away.
I mean, don't you?
Because some of these accounts are like they are sequenced out, but they're sequenced out with their tweets about the show, like Marvel stuff. Like they are putting up GIFs the moment after something happens.
You know what, buddy? If you like the show that much, and you haven't seen it, try not to follow him on Twitter for a while.
You're right.
You know, right. Or just if don't follow the show and just pay attention to the hashtags.
You know, if anything, and plus too, it's like sometimes some of those accounts, it's like, what are you really getting out of them anyway? It's like,
no, I agree.
I could mute these guys, but
anyways, the show is great. Has been since
up.
the pilot premiered 5 years ago, whenever the fuck it was. It's one of those shows that I don't think gets enough recognition.
Absolutely.
From like, you know,
doesn't get respect. I'll tell you that.
No, definitely not. But I mean, not even that it doesn't get respect. I just don't think a lot of people know what it is and like that it's even around. Really.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it gets a big push.
But it's really great, and if you're looking for a show to catch up on, I think there's nothing better really.
If you like something that's a little bit more, you know, the show Supernatural. Would you say that Supernatural kind of meets Once Upon a Time a little bit?
Well, it's funny because like this and Once Upon a Time, I think, came out either the same year or like 1 year apart.
Okay.
And they both kind of have to do a little bit with the same thing because all the Disney shit is based off the Grimm fairy tales, technically, and this show Grimm is based off the Grimm fairy tales. So every once in a while, you get a little bit of.
But Grimm is grimmer.
Grimm is much grimmer.
Much grimmer.
And I gotta be honest, man. After I think now this season or the past 2 seasons, they've had a 9:00 start time on the show, and since they did that, the show got much better with violence and shit.
A lot more of it.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
I like that.
Gonna give season 4 or 5, whatever it is, of Grimm an A.
An A.
So
Ooh, A. Damn, I should be keeping track of these or something.
Ain't nothing grim about that report.
No, not at all. Actually, Dom's gonna be like, you know what? We should get a pen. Good job, because I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, yeah, maybe for some reason I'll keep track of these. So, next up, is anybody still watching Minority Report?
Right, you skipped.
I finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did kind of skip one there. Blindspot.
I stopped watching halfway through the pilot.
Really?
And I'm going to be honest because I think the male lead, the FBI guy who's
he was hard
her,
for me in the first episode.
He really chapped my ass. And
yeah, he did something to me too. Like he was my one resistance to the show.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you on that.
You know what? Donnie Wahlberg can do that, and you're not fucking Donnie Wahlberg. So
Jesus Christ, you gotta get better than Donnie Wahlberg.
Well, the problem with that guy is that I think he's an Australian actor.
All right, so he's
and
stuffing
a
down
lot of the
accents.
times,
and he's trying to do like an East Coast accent.
Exactly,
Right.
and even like a lot of times, his accent comes out.
Yeah,
which is kind of annoying. But
stuffing it
I like
down
the show a lot.
He needs a Vegemite sandwich, is what he needs.
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Set him straight.
Set him straight. Get all that powder all over the place.
Yeah, but
So-
I would give the
Crikey.
Blindspot a B so far. Probably, I'm digging the show.
All right.
It's got a pretty. It's as
Eventually,
cliche as it is.
A friend of mine was telling
NBC
me-
plot wise.
Another friend of mine was going on about it. He is like in love with it and swears by it. So you're all caught up? You caught up? to the finale?
I've been watching it pretty much
Finale had
religiously.
another finale with a big reveal kind of twist thing. Not to give
Yes.
it away necessarily. I'm trying to stay in a mid-level spoiler zone here with some of these episodes. Some of these shows we're not, but some of them we're trying to reserve a little bit of.
eventually she's going to run out of tattoos.
Well, here's the thing, buddy. They got tattoos.
Well, the funny thing about tattoos is that they just keep going. They don't
Well,
stop.
here's another thing too with the tattoos is that if you check out like a lot of the ink that she has on her, there's a bunch of spots where it's blacked out. So there are tattoos underneath tattoos to begin with. Tattoos.
Ah, okay.
And so now you've got other ones where it's like we left ourselves a little escape hatch, I think, by having an area that's kind of like blacked out. It's at least for them, like they might know and suspect and have options of what's going
they've
to be
only
under
gone
there.
to that once so far.
Wait.
Right. But they did it early on, too,
Yeah.
I think.
There's a trick
episode.
with tattoos that a lot of people don't know about with the ultraviolet light.
Okay.
And they
You
used
can
it
use, you
on
can
the
use
show.
ultraviolet. They've already used it?
They used that on the show, yeah.
Okay,
because
so-
I think it was like she had a tattoo from, it was old in color, which none of the tattoos are, I don't think.
Right,
I think
right.
they're all black and white.
It seems like
Don't quote me on that, but
Black and gray, by the way.
it was all blacked out, and they used the ultraviolet thing on it, and through that or some shit, like they found out that the tattoo she had was like a clue that she was in the CIA before, something like that.
She was like big deals. You know?
Oh no, not the CIA. She was in like the Marines or some shit.
Oh,
like that.
okay. Well, then, no big deal.
Yeah.
No.
Navy SEALs.
No, it's even bigger deal to me anyway. But all right, so
Show is good.
Show is good. It's
Show is
holding
good.
up. What would you
Okay.
give it? What would you give it on a an academic grade here of A, B, C, or D?
I said a B earlier.
You did.
But
Right,
I
I'm
think
done.
now just thinking about the show, I want
Oh.
to give it like a B plus.
A B, like
B
Okay.
plus.
B plus.
Yeah.
B plus.
Yeah.
So back to Minority Report.
I watched the whole thing.
No interest.
All right. I fell out of love, but I kind of
I think it was
saw some potential there.
I think it was interesting because it's sort of a continuation of the movie,
Fair enough.
but even though it doesn't directly reference Tom Cruise,
yeah,
you know,
I mean, it does its own thing.
and I thought it was a unique turn on the concept.
Dom's doing his taxes. Don't worry about it.
And but
much
I
did you-
think towards the end, some of the effects.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell that their budget was kind of running
Starting to
after a
run
while,
out, yeah,
and
a
and
little
if
bit.
you're doing a show that's set in the future, you know you've got to be able to put it on
and
screen.
especially the future for that's established from that movie, and especially that pilot episode, the
Yeah.
cityscapes. Well, yeah, you guys better get out of the city a lot. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
And they started to do that towards the end of the season.
Yeah, well.
As he
Yeah,
said.
and they showed, and first off, their 13 episode order was pushed down to 10. So they've already had their season finale.
Okay. Right.
Which it's pretty much, I think if you go by TV by the numbers, they're declaring it a dead show walking.
Okay.
So this show is probably canceled. I enjoyed it. I thought it had its moments. I'd probably give it a C.
All right.
I'll give it a C also.
Well,
all right.
evidently the network has given it a see you later.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, you need to get a drum set, Bob.
Come on.
You need a fucking drum set. Dum.
How about you, Bill? Have you seen any of it to grade it?
I don't think fairly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I saw the pilot, and I think, like, the first couple of minutes of a couple of episodes. But obviously, that says something, I guess, for me. If I had to, I'd probably drop it down to a D, but for dud. But, what's a good show that I haven't watched, but I know people tell me it's a good show?
Which one?
Sesame Street. No, Quantico.
Quantico is good.
Quantico here is pretty fun.
I have not seen it.
I mean, I can't ride the roller coaster anymore, I think, of the double fake out shit.
That's what the show, like Bill said, if you're not a fan of
How to Get Away with
triple
Murder
fake outs
and all those other
and
ones,
like
the Shonda.
Yeah.
The Shonda shows.
Yeah, this is not the show for you. The show is based upon, the entire episode faking you out to think that someone did something, and then at the end you find out that this person did it. Something like that. But,
everybody's a suspect all the time, and they're constantly being shown to be a suspect. They're not a suspect.
It's not as frustrating as it usually would be, and I could see a show like How to Get Away with Murder suffering more from this, because not that I've ever seen that show, so I can't really judge, but that show probably deals with episode by episode like a different case. Quantico is one. It's been one plot the entire time.
I think How to Get Away with Murder, like that show, much like also Two Scandals, spins out of one event at the very least, and you do the same thing though. From talking to my friend Grant,
he's a fan.
He's a fan. We were talking some TV last night, and he was telling me that all those shows use the same mechanic of that. It's like there was an event, and we're kind of jumping back and forth, and we're seeing events then and events now.
Absolutely.
And they constantly contrast each other, and they do the fake out stuff to mislead. And then by the end of the episode, like you said, like we've got you thinking it's the kid with the glasses. Man, it's the guy who sold him the glasses. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's like, okay, next week we follow the guy who sold the glasses.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But then it turns out it wasn't him either.
Right.
So, what would you give it?
I would give Quantico probably.
Would you give it a Q?
I'd give it a B minus.
All right.
Because it's good. I like it a lot, but it's.
I feel like it's a B show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a B. It's a solid in that ballpark kind of an area.
Yeah.
But then again, I didn't see it up to the finale or anything. But the finale, I don't think aired actually, right?
It's on this week. So
It's
this week is the winter finale.
All right. So you let me know, and I'll make it a down.
Okay.
Shield. Ed, are you watching
Marvel's
Shield?
Agents of Shield. Yes, I am up to date.
This
on the
guy's
show.
got to say the fucking full name. He's so committed to this fucking to the TV and his entertainment and pop culture in general. Is that he knows that that's actually the literal full name. So, Marvel's Agents of Shield. We'll be right back after these toy commercials. But I mean, look, for me, the show picked it up. But it rides this wave every season of like it'll do some cool stuff, then it does some stupid shit, and then it does some cool stuff or kind of cool, good enough. Like it feels like it rides a wave of like pretty good to passable, good enough.
I feel like in passing, if you wanted to catch up, you could just watch.
I could give you a list of episodes.
Yeah,
and you'd get by
the premiere and the mid-season finale. And you kind of like, and
and you would hit enough to be like, okay, I don't really need all that filler shit. Because I did it with a friend of mine for season 1. I was like, skip the first 6 episodes. You've seen it because you've seen the first one. So I was like, you watch the pilot. You can skip like 4 or 5 episodes, and then I went into the descriptions and found which episodes for him to jump into.
Yeah, it was weird. Like season 1, once it was funny. Once they started tying into the movies, that's when it kind of picked up.
Well, because the show was like in hold, like you know what I mean. They couldn't do anything. Their big thing was to do a reveal that tied in with the Captain America movie. Yeah. So it was like they were in a stall. So it was like, okay, we'll just give you character stuff. For the first 6 episodes, but it can't be character development though, because we don't know where we're gonna go.
Yeah,
so, but anyway,
I think this with what they were doing with Powers Booth. I thought he was a good villain.
I thought it was great to see him. I thought it was I was like, oh shit, that dude.
He's always made a good villain.
Always.
And what's his name? The guy who used to be on the cover of all the romance novels. Who's
Fabio.
Oh, Fabio.
No. He's May's ex-husband. The psychiatrist.
Is he on covers of romance novels? Is that his old gig? Is that his side work?
Yeah. Then he did
Blair Underwood.
Blair Underwood. There we go.
I thought that was good with him too.
Yeah.
That's the standout stuff for the season. Is that turn with Blair Underwood. The finale has a nice turn, but they cop out on it in the last couple of seconds. Half cop out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They pull one of these kind of things, which I feel like is chicken shit, like you guys were doing. But I knew that wasn't going to count. Like they killed that dude, and they didn't make enough of a fucking fanfare or a moment about it.
I want to meet his agent to figure out who handled those contract
who keeps
negotiations.
bringing you back?
Because it's almost like in the writers' room, it's like, okay, it's time for this character to leave the show, but we have to keep paying this actor for episodes, so we might as well use him.
Right. So now he's just possessed by something.
So it's like every 6 episodes, a different thing happens to this guy, and his dynamic for the show changes, which is interesting, but also kind of frustrating at the same time.
Yeah, because then it's like, it tends to be a show that you really end up living for the mid-season finales and shit. Like, the story's not really going to take too crazy a turn until then. Sadly, it's that kind of show. So S.H.I.E.L.D., I'd give it a C+. That's what I'd give it. Where would you give it, Ed?
Yeah, I would say probably in that same range, C+, B-.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So, Ed, you're the only one watching Fargo.
Boy,
now
I know the penultimate episode just passed of the season. The finale's next season.
Some of that was kind of like Tuesday. The tiniest bit of that, like what happens, was ruined for me. Like I know the gist. I know the gist.
See,
that's out of left field, though. That's a real out of left field thing for the show, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing: if you watch that episode, 10 minutes in, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
And the whole episode is literally just watching them prepare. And they think they've got everything figured out, and the whole time,
there's nothing they can do. It's one of those.
Fuck.
Okay.
And then the shit goes down, and you're like, oh man.
Like these people just kind of walk into just they're not ready for whatever this big deal is that goes.
Yeah, on. And I think that's the beauty of the show, is that
they commit.
They don't rush anything.
Right.
They're just gonna sit and they're gonna let you take in this moment and let it smother you, and just kind of be like, "Oh, this is horrible," and I'm gonna have to sit through this for the next 40 minutes, and I'm just gonna love it.
And I'm just gonna love. I'm gonna love.
I was just gonna say.
Hate.
Yeah. I was just gonna say because the ending now. You're not gonna turn away. You're not gonna turn it off and go. Oh, yeah, I don't need to watch this now. I'll go watch
it sounds like a thing like you never see on shows where it's like, you get to see that they are literally kind of like doomed in a sense.
Yeah.
Is what the gist I'm getting to a degree.
Yeah, and the thing is, Patrick Wilson's character, who's been sort of like the main character through the whole thing, he warns these other cops, listen, this is going to go down. And the guy in charge just kind of blows him off. And that whole time, he's like preparing his team. It's like, all right, this is what's going to happen. And you're just like, nope.
The whole time you're just watching it. Nope. That kind of shit. So, where would you give it, Fargo?
Oh, it's an A.
It's an A,
baby.
It's an A.
Yeah.
You got to watch this.
All right. Well, I know that
not an A+ from the guy who asked if we were going to do pluses and minuses.
Well, he still hasn't seen the finale.
Well,
so
he's
reserving the plus.
Yeah.
You got to have a little wiggle room left just in case.
I think to me, an A+, that's like this is something I'm going to have to sit down and show my kids in like 20 years.
Right, fair enough. Right. That's going to make
something
the
you
trades.
still talk about 20 years later.
Right, they're going to be talking about this on Monday at the water cooler. You know what I mean? Everybody. But, all right, fair enough then. So Gotham is a show I think the three of us watch. You watching Gotham?
Yes, I am.
DC boy?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to figure out something to call you that DC Dan or something like that. I don't know.
DC Ed?
No, it doesn't work. DC Ed, no, it doesn't work.
No.
But anyway.
Eddie C.
I think it got better this season.
Eddie C. Yeah, I think it improved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Big ups all around.
I think Galavan, who's the main villain this year, was a little over the top, but nowhere near as much as Fish Mooney, so I'm just,
Yeah, he kind of came, it was like a wave kind of a thing with him, too. What about you, Dom?
Yeah, Last season was rough. Some of the scenes with Fish Mooney were like actually excruciating to watch at points. She was horrible. I mean, she's a great actor, I think,
but she's hamming it with that
character. The character was horrible.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
I cheered when she died.
Yeah,
me too.
Spoiler.
Yeah. But this season has been great. I think incredible improvement. I've made that known on the show a few times already.
Mm-hmm. Feel free, reiterate.
I liked Galavan. Didn't love him. I agree with Ed.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's dead technically now, but he's probably going to come back, right? I mean, you saw him in like that in the hospital.
Yeah. They'll play with it. They left it open enough.
But I like where it's going, and I think Bruce has kind of developed a little bit. Last year, he was just such a little whiny bitch.
I think they know that they kind of got to start manning him up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I want to see more Lucius Fox.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He was great in that one episode that he was in this year.
That seems to be the play. Like, Lucius will come up front, and it'll be, now this little team, quote unquote, of Pennyworth and Bruce will have someone else to play along within their sandbox, and it'll be another resource for them. It'll be a great thing. But
and speaking of teams, how about fucking Riddler and Penguin, man?
Now these two kids, fucking, I gotta go back and because I missed that episode. I gotta go back and watch this where these guys finally catch up. That's great. I hear it's like one of the best things.
It's probably the best episode of the show to date.
Just watching these two,
and because they're like full-fledged roommates now, they're roomies, and I think Penguin actually is like, "Hey, roomie,"
he says it to him,
something like that.
Like, "Hey, roomie,"
don't forget to pick up milk,
stuff like that. Now just give me this: is it a mutual thing, or is he rooming there against Ed's Enigma's will?
Well, right as of now, it's copacetic.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, Ed actually takes him in. He finds him literally in the woods, dying.
I think I might have caught that part.
But at that moment, Enigma is also in a compromising position.
Right. So very true.
Fair enough.
But anyways, back to the point.
Sure.
Very excited to see where those two go.
Yeah.
Going forward, I hope that they rise in the second half of the season to be like they rise to be the main.
I want to see.
As soon as you said rise, I'm like, is he doing it on purpose?
I really didn't even mean to do that, but
I want to see
horrible choice of word.
I want to see someone start wearing more green. Not the suit. I don't want him in the suit.
But have you noticed?
But I just want like a scarf or maybe a tie, something. What
have you noticed? I don't know if it's just me who notices this, but every scene that Enigma's in, there is some sort of green light coming into the scene somewhere.
It seems like the color palette shifts, and it's like for those scenes, like especially when he was down.
If you go back and watch, if you go back and watch, I can't think of the girl's name. Kringle, Miss Kringle. She wore green.
She always, I remember that. She always wore green, and that was interesting.
Yeah, but there's always like some kind of green, layer or
something
flash coming
something
through.
green.
I'm just waiting for that to creep into his wardrobe.
I want it to creep in.
I want it to creep in. But I'm liking Jim also. Jim.
Jim's still a fucking mixed bag with me.
Now I like that guy personally.
I still swear that's where Bruce is going to get his whole Batman voice from. Because that's how he sounds like all the time. I don't know if we can do this.
Yeah, he
does a real good Batman impression all the time.
He does.
Next time,
maybe he'll become the Batman.
Well, he does it in the comics.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll take on the mantle.
That would be great, honestly.
If they just said, "Fuck it, Bruce will be the first Batman." I mean, Jim will be the first Batman.
That'd be great.
And that's where Brucey got the idea from.
That'd be great.
That would be quite the switch up. No one would freak out at all.
I'm loving him and Lee, I think her name is. Lee.
Oh, Leslie,
I'm loving their.
Leslie Tompkins, yeah.
I'm liking their relationship a little bit because it's not like they're not shoving their relationship down our throats,
right?
Like some other shows do.
Yeah. They kind of get each other. They're there for each other. They back each other up, but they're not super. It's not all about their relationship and how it's not working, or it's always like these crazy things you go through, Jim. They're just putting pressure on a relationship. It's not that kind of stuff.
That was actually a pretty good voice for her.
Did you? Have you ever tried not being a police officer,
Jim? Have you ever tried not shooting all your friends?
I mean, she's ridiculous to begin with, but
she is funny. Is that what you mean? She's ridiculous. She's a lady of laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
I think someone's spitting.
Smitten.
What?
I think someone's
Just
spitting.
a bit.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
I think
Just a bit
someone's
smit.
got a little bit of a crush.
Oh yeah,
Once smitten, twice shy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. What would you give her on a scale? No,
I would give her an A+. There's our A+.
A+. Dom says A+ for her. The rest of the show, C. No, but what would you give Gotham then?
D-.
Gotham, because I want to give this season an A in like terms of improvement.
Right,
but
right.
like,
Fair enough.
I mean, obviously the show is not like it's not an A. The show.
What would
It'll never
Would it
be.
be easier for you to grade season 1? What would you give season 1? A D or a
E.
C?
I give that.
I stopped watching season 1.
Fair enough. Well, what would you give season 1?
Season 1, I'd give a complete flunk.
Okay, so
But season 2 for real, I'd give it a B+.
Okay, that's good because I feel like it's in there.
I'm going to say the show's good and it's improving, but there is still a lot of moments where it gets a little corny and a little kooky. And
that's the show,
and
that's what people need to understand.
The tone shifts are a little much for me, so I'd probably give it a C.
Yeah. I get that too, and I get what you're saying too. That it is the show; those tone shifts is that show struggling with being two things at once like that. Like but those tones,
like out of that hour episode, out of that 45 minutes in an episode, probably like 35 are really solid, and then it's just that one thing.
There's always there's always like at least one scene an episode where I'm like, oh god.
What would you give it?
I would give it a B for bats. B for bats. I give it a B- actually, to be honest with you, because I feel like it's coming up, but it's still got, like I said, it's got some wiggle room to go.
It's accurate.
Now, I don't think anybody else watched it. Obviously not. But it's on Netflix. But Bob and Dave, which is the kind of
I believe it's called Fun with Bob and Dave.
It might even be Fun with Bob and Dave, but it's the rekindling of Mr. Show. I just kind of fucking just watched it the other day, and it was on my head, and I'm like, we don't have a lot of comedy stuff on here. Nothing really funny, but you don't even have to have ever watched Mr. Show on HBO. This is actually a little bit more. Not as esoteric kind of comedy, like it's not.
It's a sketch show, right?
It's a sketch show. It's not as much as like I used to watch some Mr. Show on HBO, and it gets a little out there. It gets a little like not over your head, but it's a little like, oh, is this? When am I supposed to like laugh? Kind of like one of those things,
right?
Yeah,
like the dry shit. Like sometimes some Cartoon Network cartoons are like that, where like. Is this funny though? It's like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's like, this is really weird and kind of kooky, but is it funny? Right? So, but anyway, this is much more funny. I did a lot more laugh out loud kind of laughter with this. I'm not saying it's riotous, but what's also cool is it's only a 5-episode thing, and the last episode is actually just an hour long behind the scenes of how they do the process and we're putting the show together and stuff. So, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's good for that. I'm going to give it an A.
Cool.
That was first A. I didn't think he had it in it, folks.
So far, it might be the only one.
I think you're right.
We'll return after these messages.
We went to a real Ding Dong Burgers to ask real Ding Dong Burger eaters what they think of the new Ding Dong King Kong Sing Song Burger.
It's great.
It's so big, it's fucking great.
How about you folks?
Yeah.
I can feed the whole family for under $20.
And with the price of beef going through the fucking roof, that's a deal.
Fellas?
This cocksucker dragged me down here, I don't know.
Just eat the fucking thing.
Fuck you, asshole. Fuck, this little motherfucker's tasty.
Told you, fucking ass. Ding Dong Burgers, a Globochem company.
Take it from me, I love you.
So, but Supergirl. Anybody watching this?
I do. I like it.
You like it?
I like
you like it a lot?
I like it.
Ed's chomping at the bit right now.
Oh, man.
Well, let me tell you something.
That last 10 minutes of the last episode.
You can't give it away, though. We cannot speak about this.
You already gave it away.
He didn't give anything away. We didn't say that fucking Martian Manhunter was on the fucking show in the last 10 minutes.
Not the last 10 minutes, but 20 minutes ago. That's why I was looking at you like, well, I guess now I know for sure that's what that was.
We didn't, though. That was before we started.
Oh, that's right. You didn't
watch
it?
Just now.
I texted Bill as soon as the episode was over and said, watch Supergirl. Don't catch up. Just watch this episode. You'll understand when you watch it.
Right.
But that was before we started recording that we were speaking about. That wasn't on mic.
No, it was on mic.
No, we didn't.
No.
I believe so. But anyway, either way, it's on mic now. So maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It's possible. But anyway.
Yeah, no, because now I finally understand how to pronounce Jean Jones' name.
Is it actually Jean?
That's how I thought he said it.
John
Jones.
John
Jones. Yeah.
It's
like it's a little softer than John.
That's what I was going to say. Because you're definitely doing a je with your J.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Jean-Luc
Well,
Picard.
Okay. But it's forever that those commas, because it's spelled, for those of you who don't read the comics, J''ONN, J''ONNZ. And forever, I thought that meant John Jones.
Like a bad cell phone call.
Yeah.
John Jones. Right. What's your name, sir? John Jones. Do you mind spelling that for me?
Are you Mr. John Jones?
When he gets calls to the house, he's really pissed off. No one pronounces it right. You think you've had a hard time with your name growing up.
If this is John Jones, please press 1.
So, but I thought that, it took me a little while to figure it out. You know what I mean? Too throughout my years of nerddom, but eventually, I kind of put that together.
I didn't figure out until he
because when I figured out the reason I figured it out is because when I learned his origin, and he just tries to make some generic name for himself. You know what I mean? And so it was a play on that because it just screams 1950s character creation to me, where it's like everybody's name and everything has to be on the fucking nose. So it's like, let's make his generic name based on his real Martian name, which is super generic too, because wasn't his first human name John Jones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is his alter ego.
All right. Well,
still is in the comics.
Well, you just couldn't put it together, I guess. Point being, Supergirl, the TV show.
Yes.
Any good? Yay or nay? What do we feel like? What are we going to give it? What are we thinking about it?
It's been serviceable.
I think the effects are very strong for TV. I think. I think it has.
CBS says CBS DC boy.
It has some more of those mushy emotional moments in the Flash.
It's girl,
which is female based, is understandable.
But even the Flash gets too crazy with that sometimes too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if the Flash has got a little too much estrogen.
Well, here's the thing: anytime a relationship element is a part of any show, it's got to be a part of the show, sadly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want that. I just want action and people fighting and strife and struggle.
Yeah. So, Bill, have you seen much of Supergirl?
I've seen that it's on.
Okay. All right. Ed, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say they're going into a completely different realm of the DC universe than we've seen on the other DC shows.
Literally.
So,
they're going to Kandor.
We've
or three anyone?
We're going to Kandor City.
We've seen Reactron. We've seen the Red Tornado. Maxwell Lord is a character in this.
Can I ask you about the Red Tornado?
Yes.
Does this suit hold up on film and action elements? Because the photos.
I can vouch that.
Yeah, those photos were.
I mean, it looks like they basically cut up a mat outside of my house.
It's better in the show. There's a lot of wide shots.
There's a lot. They're fighting cornfields quite a bit. A lot of Sergio Leone.
A lot of aerial shots.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of drone filming. But all right. At least you're honest about that, I guess. To a degree.
Yeah. There's a love triangle in this show that just doesn't really make sense at all.
Oh my god, a love triangle.
I would have guessed on a show with a Supergirl in it.
Well, on a current show on TV, really. Love triangles everywhere you go. Look at the way I'm sitting. I love triangles.
So, Ed, what would you give Supergirl, man?
I would give this a B+.
Who's in the triangle?
Oh, actually, there's two competing triangles.
Oh, that's a whole different shape. That's a
there's a love octagon.
There's
take a break.
Venn diagram of relationships.
No, it's a Venn diagram. It's a trapezoid. I don't even know what that is.
Because you've Supergirl likes James Olsen,
right?
But he's going out with Lucy Lane.
Gotcha. Following so far. Keep
going.
Yes.
And then there's also the other guy who I can't remember, who's just basically this show's version of Cisco Ramon.
Gotcha.
Who has an enormous crush on Kara.
Right.
But knows that he can't get with her because she's hung up on Jimmy Olsen.
Bob, you have never been so right. You've never been so right, Bob.
And the
I just couldn't.
Translation is no one's happy.
No one's happy. Translation of that is no one's getting laid.
Nope.
No one's getting laid in Supergirl world. So now, based on that, Now, based on that sad note, what do you give it? No, really. So what are the ratings on this, guys? What are you thinking?
So, actually, Ed, if you were listening, just said he would give it a B+.
Well, I was, but I wasn't sure if he was going to stick to that because some of you guys are changing them.
Some of you guys are changing
them. Yeah,
Just
the more you guys talk, the more you think about it.
I stand by my grades.
Error, I stand by.
Mm-hmm. Bob will never let anybody have it all to themselves. He's got to jump on.
I just wanted to interject a little voice.
I know.
Help make it funny. I'm
sure. Dom, you were saying something?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a B- on this one.
B-?
Yeah.
A minus?
Yeah.
All right. That's fair enough.
That's fair.
I'm going to give it a 7.
Which equates to a B- pretty much. Oh, C.
Oh, does it really? Well, okay, then. I won't do that. Next up, kids, I heard some of you kids like The Flash. Is this true? Is this true?
No.
That some of you guys, you particular guys, as in Dom, Ed, and Bob.
Yeah. Not you?
I have my moments. No, man. So, like, what do we think, man? Because this season's got a little bit of mixed, I feel like. I feel like,
Yeah, I'm
Well, see, again, I think this is kind of a different... I was talking with Dom earlier before we started recording about this.
Well, good. Are you going to let him talk at all, or just...
No, I was going to say there are some moments of the show, and tell me if I'm wrong, where something will happen that's from the comics, and you kind of react to, what the heck is this? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny is, me as someone who grew up with all of these characters, every time that happens, I'm going like, oh my God!
Yeah. Well, that's the typical...
Yeah.
That's always the difficult balance, is making that work.
Yeah. And for me, like you just said, with that type of shit, let's use an example. The Shark character.
Mm-hmm.
You were all jazzed up about it because you've been reading that character for, years in DC Comics, and someone who's, like, not overly familiar with, like, the, the deep characters like Killer Shark or whatever his name was. The guys that don't really...
Pun!
Yeah.
He's from the tape.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
I should ring a bell. Pun alert. Go on, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off letting you know. That you were I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I took the wind out.
But I don't see it the way he does, pretty much. That's all.
Oh, all right.
That's all it was.
Fight. TV Fight Club. Go.
I'm just saying, I'm in.
I'll fight for that.
And to go back before Supergirl, when Jean Jones showed up, I was like, take all my money. That's
right. So for you, it's just like, well, that's a difficult balance, man, because that's how I feel about things that I really love too. When I finally see them on screen, I'm like, oh, that's amazing. But instantly, I'm like, what does this mean for the rest of the show? Like, is this the sign? Is this from here on?
Yeah,
it's
the
all
creative writer, and you just can't.
I have to. I'm 3 steps ahead, and I can't turn that shit off sometimes, because even when I saw the Shark, I was like, "Oh, he's falling out of the holes." Now it's open season on goofiness here. Is that what this means, or are we just doing it one time only? Like, that's literally what happened for me with Shark Boy. And then
his name is
now. Yeah, but now they've actually started showing him again in the
previews.
The previews.
Yeah, he pops back up.
He's popping back up. So I'm thinking that there's going to be some more of King Shark here.
Yeah, it's
possibly simply because it ties into the Suicide Squad.
Well, I mean, there's that, but I mean, it's not going to tie direct.
DC has said our movies and TV shows will never interact.
No,
with each other,
I'm not talking about story wise. I'm just talking about like
synergy
in people's minds.
Oh yeah,
it's fair enough. Yeah. Because for a while it seemed like they were pushing back on that kind of a thing, but now they may not be doing that so much. Fair enough. So, but now who else did they bring in that was really goofy?
The Hawks. Hawk Girl, Hawkman.
I love that you said that. But yeah, so here's the thing.
Tony Hawk.
We got a full out Grodd episode.
Right. We got some revisionist history. How do we feel about the Hawks?
Yeah, I don't know. If all it took to gain superpowers was being pushed off the side of a building, I think everybody'd be doing it.
I'd be pushing people left and right. No, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. This is
actually, it might be a good way to get all the morons on this planet off the planet.
I've always said that Hawkman and Hawkgirl, I never thought I'd see them on screen ever. just because their continuity is so convoluted.
Ed, it's not about the continuity. Continuity is never the issue.
They're never going to be A-list characters. I think
it's the costumes and the preposterousness of.
But I actually thought I thought the costumes that they had were pretty solid.
Hey man,
I think
give it to
I think the fact that they didn't have those wings the whole time and they just showed up when they were flying, I thought that was a good decision.
The convenience,
yeah,
of just having them there when you need them, because that makes sense. Where did they go, Ed? I need logic in my shit. Like, that was a problem for me. Like, I get it because they have big wings,
right? Because the guy that got struck by lightning and fell into a rack full of chemicals. That's logical, right? Now he's super fast.
Yeah, I mean, but him.
No, but
him squeezing.
But he's Barry.
She's a plan. But him squeezing his costume into a ring is not.
You don't squeeze it into a ring.
No, but
he's reversed it.
He's reversed it, but Cisco's working on it.
I know.
But here's the thing. But that's the kind of thing I make a dismissal for. Yeah. But that's still the logic of that does not work for me. But the logic of their wings completely disappearing doesn't really work.
Well,
for
she's
me.
a priestess. Maybe it's mystical energy that only comes out when they command it to.
Well, they better say that.
Yeah, but it doesn't tie into their original history because you don't see them in ancient Egypt, wherever that was supposed to be. I forget.
Yeah.
With wings on as priestesses. You know what I mean?
Well,
she's in regular priestess robes. The symbolism comes from the staff.
Fair enough.
So the staff is the thing that ties the three of them together, and that's all part of the story. We'll find out later.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
It's a good point.
I'll give you a little something. I'll give you a little.
And
and how about the fact that the masks don't look like they would be anything organic anyway?
Well, that's like I said, for me it was like the worry was the costumes. And the costumes work for what it is to a degree, but they're still kind of hokey.
I'm surprised that they went with the reincarnation theory instead of the alien police cop.
That would have been going too far, Ed.
That would have been going too far.
Alien police cop. They do that on Supergirl. That's John Jones. Okay.
The fact that their names are just Hawkman and Hooker is bad enough.
Well, that's the problem with some of this old shit school shit is like,
whoever created them was probably like just doodling up like a guy that looked like
these are characters that were created in the 60s.
And he was like, this is actually really cool looking.
Yeah.
The surprising thing is that his real name wasn't like James Hawkson or Clawton or one of these kinds of like.
No, that was they're Golden Age characters. That was a Silver Age thing.
Oh well,
the alliteration.
Okay, all right. If you say so, as if fucking that didn't happen then too. Like there was the alliteration, the on the nose name
could have been a veterinarian with a aviary specialty or some bullshit.
That all that super on the nose kind of shit.
Although they didn't mention if he's an archaeologist, which is what he is in the comics.
Well, what else is he fucking good
all right.
for?
So
that's why he would find the thing.
Fair enough. Dom.
Flesh season 2.
Well,
starting with Bob.
Well, can we discuss the finale a little bit?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because we didn't really do a breakdown on that, and I figured that was something that we kind of do a little bit.
I don't even remember really.
Yeah, it's a little
honestly,
bit.
You got to
behind a flash.
Well, it's weird because you thought it was going to be a showdown with Zoom, and it wasn't.
Well, I really wasn't predicting that too much, but you think that you would have got a little bit more with Zoom. But my issues really weren't with Zoom. My issues is that it feels like to me that the show is starting to cut corners a little bit storytelling wise. Like they're kind of falling victim to stuff that they didn't do, which was like, here's a cool idea, let's write the story to make it happen.
The whole bomb,
the gift box, the gift fucking bombs. Yeah.
We're talking about something else. But what I'm saying is that, like, point in case is during the crossover with Arrow, they do this thing with Vandal Savage where it's like basically they just want Vandal Savage to crash through a fucking window, and so what they do is they manufacture this bullshit argument amongst a group of them when they're in the Arrow lair or Arrow cave, and then it's like Barry's like, what we should do, what we never ever do is like we should just stop now and go home, change, shower. Let's go back to someone's house.
No one fighting.
Let's stop this, and we'll just resume later at somebody's apartment and have a couple of coldies and just chill and just chillax. You know what I mean? And it's like, but not only that, but they also shut down basically the girl because she was freaking out at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like, let's just go hang out in an apartment.
Barry was like, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that. Bye-bye. Let's go have a couple of drinks.
And let's wait for Vandal to crash through the window. Because that's all it was set up for. I feel like it was really pushed to that. And I feel like there was something else in the finale that was the same kind of thing that was just kind of like a setup to push a really cool scene. And I'm at a loss right now.
I just said it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, the thing I was going to say...
Right, yeah, with the bombs.
Oh, yeah, with the gifts bombs.
That was to set up that cool scene with Barry and,
They just magically, like,
Mother Nature and...
Well, and
it was weird. Like, Captain Cold didn't have to be in that episode.
Well, his whole thing was just getting him out of prison.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. The whole thing was getting him out of prison so he could be out for the next series.
Yeah, he didn't have to be in the episode. He didn't have to be, but I don't mind that he was because, like you just said, like, what are they just going to throw this guy onto like a team of heroes for another show?
Right.
Like this is a guy that we have a pretty deep knowledge of by now.
And him changing
the
plan
so we
felt
need to...
real to his character, where it's like, yeah, this guy got me out of prison, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go do something else. Probably take a nap.
Because you've been such a nice guy to me, I'm not going to be a nice guy.
I'm going to give you a heads up.
Yeah, Barry.
I'm not going to help
I hate that actor so much.
I'm wondering why Dom's like, I don't know if it's because it was stolen or something or what it was, but it was just hearing us do that voice, I guess.
I'm Mr. Cold, so I have to sound cool.
Everything has to be cold.
Mellow.
Cold.
Stern.
And I'm thinking
back to the finale.
Yes.
So, what do you guys think going forward with that, like, post, Flash?
Well, I'm not happy that Harry is going to be plumping up Barry like a Christmas turkey.
Yeah, basically.
And
that's fine. I mean, we kind of predicted that a little bit. We knew that was kind of coming. We thought that's what he was up to begin with anyway.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's cool. It's not a big, super amazing reveal like we were hoping for. Maybe because we saw it coming. I'm sure for somebody else, it's like, oh my God, he's gonna make him a bad guy now. But it's the good professor. It's not the bad professor, Tom. It's the good professor.
Yep, you're right.
But anyway, point being that it's all right. It's serviceable. It's good. It's just they did a lot of crazy setup stuff in that episode. That was like, some of it was like, just felt like we got to get these things in place. It's like it's Christmas Eve and this kid comes by the house and like, hey, I'm your son on fucking Christmas night. Like, I get it. Maybe you're homeless or something. You don't know what it'd be, but you looked pretty well dressed. So
he did.
Yeah, I think what comes down to is this mid-season finale wasn't designed to actually be a mid-season finale.
Yeah,
it was
just
designed,
felt like another episode.
Yeah, it was designed to be a tie-in for another series.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's
if
serving
they designed
so
it
many
to be
right.
A mid-season episode, we would have had more of Zoom. We would have had more action.
Fair
we
enough.
would have had a lot more going on.
Fair enough.
But they were like, well, we'll give them a little bit of Zoom so that we can keep things going and keep them hanging there. But this is really to sell another product.
Yeah, ultimately we're setting up other storylines.
Yeah.
It feels like it serves to set up more stuff.
I agree with that though, but like I feel like
I think that's why I'm sorry to cut you off. I think that's why it's just nothing. The science is garbage.
Right. Well,
the
that's
pseudoscience is garbage in this one. It went out the window because it had another purpose.
That's why they call it pseudoscience.
No, but fair enough. But they do normally keep it within a certain level of logic.
Believability.
You know what I mean? And I felt like the thing with the gifts, giving all these kids really cool gifts, was that it wasn't even about setting up anything afterwards. It was about having a cool scene, because that's a badass fucking way to kind of have a villain do a thing. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's like a no-win situation. And then they're like, but it's just such a cool scene visually and an idea that regardless of the fact that it painted us into a corner,
well, let's
stick with it.
I thought the way they got out of it was a little hokey.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
That's my point. And my point being with this is that, like, when your solution to get out of a story problem is to make something so fucking ridiculous that people actually go,
because that idea that it would deactivate the bombs could have easily just been that it would have set all the bombs off at once.
Or the fact that the fact that they actually just take the same relative shape in space, and somehow that's going to magnetically pull them all together out to the wormhole. Like, it's fucking, it's hokey garbage. As fucking hokey gets. But my point being that, like, I can see why it happened, because they painted themselves in a corner and they wanted to keep that scene. Because of the fact that in the writer's room, it became a thing where, well, now it falls apart when we have to try and solve that problem. So as cool as that is, we probably shouldn't use it. That's my thinking. Anyway, that's my opinion of their fucking jobs.
So I will say...
But I'm just thinking now, why couldn't they have just sent the Flash back in time?
No.
He solves every other fucking problem.
Because you don't they've done it twice. Yeah. You don't want to make that a habit for every episode.
They already did, though. He's done it twice.
Right.
He's done it twice to save lives. That, like, you know.
Once he did it by accident.
Yeah.
And fair enough. And kind of like in the Arrow crossover, he kind of does it there, too.
Yeah.
But it's another thing. See, that's another thing, too. Like, they didn't have to have Vandal Savage kill all of them and then have Barry go back in time. but it made a really cool scene. And it made a really cool scene for a cliffhanger. So let's bend the rules that we establish in a way of like not doing too much time travel stuff for the sake of doing it. Well, that's what you're doing it for. You're doing it for a commercial break and to have a cliffhanger and to have like one cool thing happen. Also that Barry can have his little pre-knowledge of how events went. And then during the second pass through, like, I can solve all the problems because I have foreknowledge.
Also, remember, that this was on Arrow, and you also, that played a lot into Ollie's storyline.
Well, that's what I mean. But his ability, the ability for them to get out of the problems that they had only exists because Barry went through time and now comes back with foreknowledge. So he's got a leg up. None of these characters really solve their own problems. And basically Vandal Savage, we saw Vandal Savage win. He won. He's able to win. So I get that. Okay, you wanted to kind of tease us with that?
I don't know. On I got to tell you, on that second go-round, when before Ollie just said, Barry and I are going to do this alone.
Right.
When Ollie walks in, looks around, and looks at Diggle and Speedy and goes, suit up. I'm not going to lie. I kind of...
You went to go get your suit.
Kind of teared up a little bit.
All right, I'm over analyzing anyway.
So I'm gonna give the Flash an A-.
A-, Bob.
I'm gonna give it a B+.
B+, Dom.
B+.
B+. I'll give it a B+ as well. How about Arrow? What do you guys feel about the Arrows? Because you two are much more in the Arrow than I am.
Or I.
Or Bob. I almost called you Bobo. Sorry.
You almost called me Boob.
Boob.
I actually thought the finale was the mid-season finale was one of the stronger episodes.
I just didn't know what you were doing for a second. I forgot that you were doing that. You're so fucking studious. I love it.
I was running out of room on the sheet, though. So
I thought it was wrong. No, I was saying I thought the mid-season finale for Arrow was one of the stronger episodes this season.
I agree.
I think it's going to go back. It always goes back and forth. I love Black Canary's Sonic Scream. And I think she's using it more now.
I hate it.
I've seen it once. I'm not cool with it. I didn't know she was doing it.
But I think her. For some reason, her character just still bothers me.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Laurel.
Yeah, every Laurel storyline doesn't really. It's always she gets angry at her dad for keeping a secret from her.
Exactly.
If you could see how hard Ed rolled his eyes when he said that, like my eyes started to hurt a little bit by looking.
No, but Ed, I do agree with you that this mid-season finale was one of the strongest episodes of the season so far. But I have one problem with that episode, and I hope that you will agree with me on this.
What's that?
And it is that fucking Nazi gas chamber that Damien Dark.
He told me about this.
Yeah, that was stupid.
So for anyone who hasn't seen the episode, the big bad for the season, sets up this fucking Nazi gas chamber in like secluded warehouse, right?
Right.
Brings Oliver along to show him how strong this thing is and how bad it will be when he actually gets it to start working and how much damage it'll do on some people. So he brings like some random fucking guy out, puts him in the chamber, and within seconds of them kicking it on, you see all like the gas come out of like the vent and everything. Sure. Within seconds, the guy is dead on the floor. Not even like a gasp for air.
No coughing fit.
Nothing. Just dead.
Two breaths.
And then about maybe 5-6 minutes later,
right?
Felicity, Diggle, and
important characters.
Important characters go into the same exact gas chamber as our friend just did, and they're like running around.
They're in there for a whole commercial break.
They're banging. You're right.
They're in there for 2 and 2.
They're banging on the windows. They're gasping for air.
They're texting
they're really
friends.
struggling.
They're like, this might be the end.
Felicity definitely made a Facebook status.
This Ollie, he's getting me into all kinds of trouble.
So that's my.
So one of these ridiculous things. I love that fucking. Well,
see, I think they should have cut that act break before they turned on the gas. And I think it would have had just as much tension built up, but without all the hokiness.
Yeah, at least you would have sailed right through it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been like, now we got to watch it again, because when you come back from break, it's like you would need that 1 second.
But the break is what makes it dramatic.
Yeah.
The break is what makes it dramatic.
And that's the reason why they put it there.
They could have done it like just as the gas was starting to come out of the vent.
Like you just see it coming, but you know, they'll never go to commercial break on fucking just a vent. It's got to be someone's face going, oh my God.
Yeah, it was Felicity like.
Where Hey, darling.
No. She was mouthing, "I love you, I love you,
right,
I love you,"
right,
and it was soundproof. So
Right.
they're both saying "I love you" to each other, but they can't hear it.
They put her in the Kilgrave box.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, anyways, Arrow season 4. I'd give it a A-.
I would give it a B+.
B+, A-. That equals a
B+
for Arrow. All right. I don't know if you guys might have heard of this other show. We've watched it. I think most of us liked it. It's called Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Mrs. Jones. So, how did we? Did you like it? Was it good?
Yes.
Was it satisfactory to you and yours?
I enjoyed it very much.
Did you feel compelled maybe to watch it again at a further date?
No.
No rewatchability?
Possibly.
Possibly. That's how I feel about Daredevil.
Just episode 9.
Just episode 9. Just that one?
Just oof.
That's the standout?
That's the, oh man.
That is the kind of the standout.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like the show takes a dip after that. And I mean, there's time to bring in Luke Cage and everything, but I feel like if that show was 10 episodes instead of 13,
this is what I said about Daredevil. This is what I said about Daredevil too. Both series, they feel like they take a dip. They're in different places, kind of, and I feel like there's kind of like two lulls because they're both series hit a story point where it's like, okay, episode 4 or 5, boom, something happens that kind of catapults the rest of the season, but we take a little while to get there. And then around episode 9 or 10, boom, something happens to propel us into the fucking end. Yeah. And so it's like, it's got a little bit of dips where it stretches out a little bit. And because it has to stretch, it gets a little bit like, I can see why some people I know, it feels a little tedious with some of the secondary plot stuff or even the whole thing where...
Or just the Robin character.
just
like her whole character.
Just her whole, why are we even following her?
And it's not the actress's fault. It's the way that part's written.
Yeah, it's just the way that she's not involved enough with Jessica's life for us to care about really what's going on with her divorce.
And also... No.
Who's
not
Robin?
I don't know. That's the sister who lives in her apartment whose brother gets...
Oh, she had a name?
Yeah. The redhead.
Right, I forgot. Well, her too. Her and
the idea that she can convince the group of people to do what she convinces them to do.
Finally, she's the one. For me. Yeah, she's like the impetus for that. Yeah, that was a bit of a stretch too. I kind of could see where they were kind of painted themselves into a corner a little bit with that too. It's like, how do we get this to happen now? But I thought you were talking about
Carrie Ann Moss.
Hogarth. Hogarth, whatever her name was. Yeah, because I know some people were like, yeah, it just feels like it's like kind of like shoehorned in, or we follow that too much. And I kind of agree, like to a degree, but I still wouldn't. I wouldn't have said like don't. I would have said, "Oh, take out that storyline."
No,
I would have said minimize it a little bit more.
I did like her selfish, vindictive streak. She's a lawyer.
Oh yeah. But I just mean in general, like it's not like. She's so ingrained into Jessica's regular life where it's like, her story really matters in a big way. Ultimately, it ties all in because that's just how every fucking thing has to be where, like, everybody has to somehow... Everybody that's a main character has to be affected, like, you know what I mean, by what happens to, the main character. And it's like, it's not always necessary. Like, couldn't she just be the lawyer who ends up being unaffected by any of it? Like, but no. She's got to pull her in.
Yep.
So anyway, so for me, the one thing that I felt like was like a drag out was a little bit with the house when he sets up the house and they're in the house and it's like, we're going to rekindle all this shit.
Oh, I thought that was creepy.
Oh, it was creepy as fuck. Don't get me wrong. I love it as an idea. It was creepy as fuck, but I just kind of felt like through some of it, it was like, isn't this a thing where like... Especially by the end, once it's like, your power's not working on me. Like, you know what I mean? Wouldn't she have fucking stabbed him at some point anyway, somehow? But anyway, that was just me picking on it. Because I dug it as a concept and as a place to take it, but I felt like it was a little bit of a stall.
At that point, she wouldn't kill him.
She didn't know. She didn't figure it out until later.
Oh, that's true.
Well, and also she can't kill him because she needs him to free Hope.
Oh, that was right. That's right.
Yeah, Hope was still alive at that point.
Fair enough. I kind of missed that context there in that moment, and I lingered on it. Fair enough. Good thing I got you.
So, what would you get rated, Bill?
Overall, I would give it. I give it a B+. I give it a B+.
For me, Jessica Jones. The biggest issue for me with Jessica Jones was the finale and the build-up of Kilgrave. Right. Dad's forced to give him all this stuff that's making him more and more powerful, but we don't ever really see it on the show. I mean, the only time you see anything, I mean, when she's walking up to him at the pier, and he's got all those people fighting. By that time, that should be half the city. You know, his dad's pumping him full of all this stuff, and he walks into a room, a club, and he's got 600 people doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, and then they cut to him getting more and more of this stuff. And then what happens at the climactic scene? There's like 15 people fighting on the pier.
Right.
Everybody within like even a whisper that can hear his voice as a whisper miles away should be affected by him at that point. But we see 15, 20 people fighting on a pier.
That's a good point.
You know, so they missed the mark on that one big time. You know,
now, I felt like
if they would have just switched it around and made the club scene, the end scene, and put it in a bigger club, that would have been all they needed to do to fix that. You know,
who wants to pay that many extras?
Fair enough. That's probably
you don't need to pay anybody. You get 15 people to stand there, and then the guy in the CG booth says, "Okay, I take that head, put it there, put this one there, change hair colors here."
Yeah, but that costs money too.
Yeah,
okay, but you're doing it once. You're Marvel. You're Disney. You know, okay, I know you're doing this for Netflix, but just because it's Netflix doesn't mean you have to spend no money.
No.
You
but
know?
Fair enough. But fair enough. They could have reworked that end one way or another.
It would have been really easy.
The problem is really, regardless of the solution, the problem is that the peer thing definitely did feel off to me too. Where I was like, this feels a little anticlimactic. And plus, when she actually kills him, I'm like, that's it. That
was the biggest thing for me. That was the biggest thing. I think they put, in my opinion, the best Marvel villain, or maybe even like most interesting character that has been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to date.
Yeah,
and he's dead like that.
Well, it's also it's kind of a similar situation to Zod in Man of Steel, where it's like there's really no other way to stop this guy.
But at least there was an epic battle with mass destruction at the end of Man of Steel. Like Jessica just cracks this guy's.
She snaps his neck.
With
granted, like she walks a line between being kind of like holding back and doing crazy shit. Like, you know what I mean? I figured at the very least with that, like when she scoops him up and is holding him off the ground by his fucking chin, that she was just gonna fucking just squeeze him until fucking like he turned like a pulpy orange or something.
That would have been fun.
And I thought that was gonna be it. And in that kind of like simplicity of it just being that, not some big drag out fight, because she would fucking beat the shit out of him in a heartbeat. You know, not some other kind of we've been building it up enough, you know, but that to me would show me like, you know, how she's trying to hold back her fucking rage but can't. Like, you know what I mean?
And then I think this is to say, you know, we're knocking this a lot. We all really like this show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know.
Yeah, I thought it had, like Bill was saying, I thought there was lulls. I thought, like everybody was saying, it should have been more likely should have been the 10 episodes than 13.
Yeah.
I think the lulls came more in the beginning, which is fine because you're learning about everybody, so then you can kind of get away with that.
Sure.
And then the lull, for me, was kind of more at the end.
So what would you give it?
Honestly, I'm going to give it a C.
All right. C.
You know?
I'm going to give it an A-.
A minus?
What'd you say, Bill?
Yeah.
I said a B. B plus, I think.
And I just thought the pacing was a little bit slow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, and then there was those lulls.
I mean,
how do you mess up that finale? I don't understand that. That's why
it wasn't really messed up. I don't think we could say it was messed up.
No, I think it was because, you know, they talk about him being able to be so powerful he can control the city, and then you see that happening.
Well, it also
only to get 20 people on the pier at the finale of the whole friggin' show.
The thing you forget, I think it also was kind of clever the way that she tricked him. She had him believing at that point that he had finally convinced her to go with him.
And then why, I don't know. How she convinced him, I don't know. Because that to me was a thing where
because that's also the other thing you've got to remember is sometimes irrational people think irrationally.
And you don't have to tell me that. That's why I know that he should have known.
The thing that made that character interesting is that... And I apologize if I've said this already on the show, because I've said it a lot of places. I'm not sure if it's already on record.
Train stations, whatever.
But that character is unique because he's not trying to take over the world. He's not trying to kill thousands of people.
No, he's keeping it small scale.
No. All he wants is her.
Right.
That's his sole. That's the only reason he's doing all of these horrible things is because he wants her to want to be with him.
Right.
So he's begging for just that moment, and the second she gives him some kind of flash that she's going to consent,
he falls right into it. He falls right into it.
Yeah, and I think that's why. It wouldn't make sense for him to be skeptical at that point. I think the second that she shows any kind of interest in him, he's just going to jump on top of it, and that was his downfall.
I have to suspect that maybe you just haven't obsessed about someone to the point where you would know exactly what goes through that person's head. Because here's what I would tell you, is that fucking to sweat that and want that so bad that when it finally happens, you still don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like I would have made her kill Trish. Which is the most logical thing he could have asked her to do to prove it. Mm-hmm. Like, don't give me some song and dance. Don't tell me some bullshit. Mm-hmm. Choke her out.
Yeah,
you know
that's what I was waiting for. Instead of him making out with her.
Yeah, exactly. Like, give me the tongue. Like, granted, like I understand that that's the way they're going to play it and all that, but it just didn't work for me because actually I saw that as the more logical, just kind of like test of it. Like if Trish is so because instead he tries to like walk off with Trish. Like, oh look, I'm gonna take her. Mm-hmm. Okay, no reaction. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, let me try something else. And he doesn't have, I would have had a choker out. Mm-hmm. But that's me. I'm insane.
It wouldn't have worked anyways, though, because Trish was standing right next to him, and she could have just went along with it and walked towards Trish, and then just went for him instead of Trish.
Right. Give a little wink, and then pop him in the head and knock his head off off his shoulders.
Yeah, it's true.
But, I mean, I see why you...
And another issue for me was Kilgrave didn't seem as irrational as he should have been, if he was as crazy as they kept saying.
Well,
I think was a little bit of that, too.
I think the main thing that like we're forgetting about him is that he was so fucked up in the head that he had all this power. He had literal mind control. Could have, like your Bob's been making the point, that he was getting stronger and stronger as the season progressed. But he didn't use it to his full potential because he was too dumb to. He was too dumb to.
Too obsessed. Too locked onto one.
But to a certain extent, though, by the end, all he had to do was yell something, and everybody within earshot had to obey it. It wasn't like he had to tell somebody.
But he didn't think
within them. You know what I mean?
He didn't think of doing that because
and
he didn't think he
I think
needed
that's
to.
why they also had him on a pier. Was to make the logical kind of like explanation of, well, they all kind of removed. They're not in the middle of the city. There's not a lot of people. Like he's gotten everybody who was actually within earshot there.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? That's the way out.
Yeah, but but that's all it was a way out. Because they very easily could have just reversed where action happened.
But I mean, if you want to get into it, also too, he was supposed to. His powers were supposed to be amping up to this crazy level, but then they were also saying how he wasn't getting to that. Like, it wasn't fully working. It wasn't getting to that, I think.
Right, but then that's why he had that super mega dose right before the finale.
Yeah, but I'm saying, maybe the super mega dose really didn't work.
I grew up in the 80s, and that happened in an 80s story. that bad guy is so over the top by the end.
Well, that's fair enough.
You know what I mean?
We're dialing it back these days.
He's like a total cartoon character of what he started out with. But he should have been more... Kilgrave should have been more Kilgrave. He should have been more crazy. He should have been more powerful.
All right, so Walking Dead. Do we want to get into all this real quick at all about the finale, the mid-season finale for Walking Dead?
I think we did last week, right?
I don't think we did at all.
We did?
I don't think that we did.
Oh, no, we didn't have any TV talk.
No, we didn't do it. There was no TV talk. Ed was crying about it, I heard.
Was he?
Well, someone I know saw him on a train, and he was all like, and they were like, what's wrong, Ed? He's like, there's no TV talk this week. So,
say it a little bit lower. That would be
interesting. I wanted to crank up. I would turn up your headphones really high. Right?
You're an asshole, you know that.
I learned this from Opie and Anthony. But just tell me really low in the microphone, and then do that. Anyway, so some people died, but not enough. That's my review for the Walking Dead season finale, the mid-season finale.
Exactly.
People died, but not enough.
Agreed.
I think it's hit the fan again.
It's always hitting the fan on that show. Do you watch? You watch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, the big thing is that basically the wall comes tumbling down. All these fucking zombadoodles come walking in, and shenanigans, shitstorm.
I will say that little kid, the youngest son,
Oh yeah. Oh.
That kid's an asshole.
That kid's a fucking. Can we just drop him off? Can we just leave him behind? Should have just left him on the second floor.
Give him to the next zombie.
Literally the last scene, when they're walking out, he's going, Mom.
Yeah. He is literally about to ruin it, and that's the cliffhanger for the fucking episode.
Motherfucker.
Like, we are trying to sneak by a fucking horde of stupid shithead. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We're covered in zombie guts so they won't smell us. Shut up. It's like, fuck it. I can't. That kid's got to get it. If that kid was an adult, he would have got it already. Yeah. Let's just say that. Yeah. Okay, on this show, a character like that as an adult would have been gotten.
Right, because you can replace them replace them with another character that serves the same purpose.
And also, you got to build up to killing a kid on The Walking Dead.
I mean, that's a kid.
You got to make them hate him first. They'll kill him, but he's got to hate him first.
He's going to get bitten, and the mom's going to die trying to save him, and then the other son is going to blame Carl and try to kill him.
Right. Well, some variants of that, I'm sure, where at the very least.
All right. So we don't need see the rest of the season.
Well, not Bob anyway.
Well, no, I just gave it all away. So
that's true. That's true.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Spoiler Ed, always ruining it. You know
Psychic Ed.
But by the way, if that happens, I am a genius. I'm just going to say that.
If it happens, you're lucky. I've predicted TV shows. It's not that impressive. It's not that amazing.
Just go with the psychic thing. You can always put up a sign and do tarot cards.
I was going to say it could be a whole new career for you, buddy.
So what would we go with here?
What would we go with for me? You're throwing it to me first. I will give it, because I had issues, but it's been so long I can't remember all my issues. So I will give it a B-.
I'm a B.
You're a B. You're about a B.
I'm a B also.
B. And Bobby.
And I must abstain.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say you literally are a B. Because you're Bobby.
Yes.
So, other than that, also...
beautiful.
Is anybody else watching The Grinder? Has anybody else caught The Grinder?
I have not watched The Grinder.
Dom just lit the fuck up.
I love it.
Fucking The Grinder is really good.
Yeah, The Grinder is possibly the best...
One of the funniest comedies ever made in the history of comedies.
It's probably the best show, like that, best new show of the fall 2015 season.
Bold statement, folks.
Wow. It's really not that bold. I mean, fucking,
look at what it's stacked up against.
I mean, look at everything else here. I mean, tell me something that's better than it. Really.
Fair enough. And I've only seen
tell
a
me
few
anything
episodes.
that's good that debuted this year.
And I've only seen a few.
Grandfathered?
Horrible.
Horrible. I don't even remember. It's fucking so bad.
Wait, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You watched Grandfather?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
You could get away with
if you watch Grandfather and don't watch The Grinder.
Honest, looking at the previews, I thought they were the same show. I'm not going to lie.
There is a certain interchangeability between the previews and commercials of both shows. I'll say that.
The thing is, they share the same hour, so I'm sure people get confused.
And if you had said that you had watched the pilot, I wouldn't have thrown it. Dom might have held it against you. I wouldn't have. But
both shows have well-known actors that are of medium height with black hair and
I don't know, something of a throwback,
and tan skin. So
no, don't get me wrong. Grandfather isn't a horrible show. It's funny at times. I watch it, but it's not like it's not like you got a show with Josh Peck and who's fucking hilarious.
Of Drake and Josh,
yeah, and whatever is Full House Uncle Jesse.
John Stamos?
Yeah, John Stamos.
And
John Stamos plays his father.
Right.
Right there.
Don't get me wrong. I can see there's a certain amount
that right there is fucking phenomenal just off of knowing that.
Yeah. But
really
I don't know if I had the longevity to hang with Stamos though for that long.
Yeah, he's so annoying, right?
That's the thing. That's the kind of thing. Like Josh, that kid Josh, I'll give him a chance. But like Stamos, I know what I'm getting for the next 3 seasons with this guy.
Yeah.
See, I think John Stamos is really funny when Bob Saget is telling lewd stories about him.
Yeah, right. That's about it. When I'm getting that kind of scoopy scoop. Mm-hmm. So let's back to The Grinder with Robbie Lowe,
Fred Savage, Rob Lowe,
and it's fucking funny, man. Like, just it's rare that I'm laughing out loud to anything. You know what I mean?
I mean, don't get me wrong. This show ain't like, it's not like ha ha hardy har fucking
every 5
making
seconds
you piss your pants every 5 seconds. Right.
But you're getting a big laugh. I would think.
There's a certain like wittiness to both main characters that
Right. It's more like Modern Family in that it's like there's a build up to the punchline.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a punchline for punchline's sake. It's more of a dry line that you kind of have to like get.
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah, absolutely. That's more with Fred Savage's character, I think, because he's one of those like actors that he's not hilarious.
Oh yeah. Rob
his
Lowe's
character
is definitely
now,
over the top and
right.
I don't watch the show, but does Rob Lowe's character ever question himself?
Actually, he has been recently.
Well, and he does it almost facetiously, or only because it's like the facade you have to put on in a social circle kind of a thing. Like, okay, maybe that was a bad idea. But it's so ego driven that like it doesn't really count. So like you could say like he questions himself, but only still in the service of himself. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't go too deep if he does it. It's surface
universe
kind of
revolves around this guy.
Yeah, it's
I've only
surface
ever
kinda.
seen like a few minutes of one episode, and I was like, oh wow, this is like over the top.
Yeah, right.
That's what I was like going to say before. Like both characters are so different, even though they're both like equally funny.
Right.
They're so different in the fact that like
Fred
Savage's character is
like
funny,
a straight man
because he's got like this dry comedy where it's like him getting shit on like 90% of the time, and him just making like some like witty comment about him getting shit on. And then Rob Lowe's character is funny because he's not trying to be funny; he's just a complete douchebag.
And
he's so full of himself. He could just float away on the helium.
The outrageous situations, not that they're crazy outrageous, but the nuttiness comes out of him.
Yeah,
like,
and then add fucking Timothy Oliphant into the mix. And you got a pretty fucking
I got it.
He's in the show.
Well, he pops up in the last 3 episodes, right?
Yeah. So The Grinder is the show. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, no, I know the premise. I saw the trailer.
So The Grinder is the show that Rob Lowe's character was on prior to him retiring,
moving back home.
Yeah. Right. So,
it's buzzing like crazy. Oh. Well, that's it, Ed. You got to leave.
It's Ed's fault. It's the Ed phones.
We figured it out.
We're all good now.
I think so. So back like you were saying.
Yeah. So Jason Alexander actually is the director of The Grinder.
Oh, I miss him.
And it's pretty funny.
How he's like everywhere. You just hear his voice on everything.
That's true. He does do a lot of voice work.
So he's been getting fan mail and stuff that people want The Grinder back. People miss The Grinder. So his solution to that is not to bring horrible voice crack. Excuse me,
Bobby Brady.
Not to bring Rob Lowe's character back as the Grinder, but to use Timothy Oliphant, who plays the Grinder's brother in the original Grinder series, as the Grinder.
So he gets replaced,
Wow, he's getting replaced by his own TV brother.
Yeah. Right.
So now the Grinder is called the Grinder Louisiana. And it's
it's because it's the brother. It's still okay to call it the Grinder, but now he's somewhere else.
Yes. Now it's Timothy Oliphant's character who plays the much more douchey, if there actually could possibly be a douchier character in existence than the Grinder himself. And Rob Lowe's character behind the scenes of the Grinder has a lot of issues with taking his shirt off in scenes and having sex scenes like in the courtroom, like these crazy like sex scenes that Jason Alexander wants it to have on the show.
Right.
But like that's all Timothy Oliphant's character does. Like he's like standing there and he's just like Grinder wrists. And he rips open his shirt like Jason Alexander makes it a point like to make the actor take off his shirt like every second of the episode just to fucking give it to Rob Lowe's character,
That's great.
Dean.
I got to catch up just
Dean
to
Sanderson.
get to those.
So what's your grades, boys?
I mean,
what's your Grinder grade?
My Grinder grade's an A. Could be an A+, but I don't believe in the A+.
Wow.
I'm going to give it a solid B, but only because I haven't seen enough, and it'd be unfair for me to.
Yeah, I can't grade because I didn't really see anything.
All right. How about Hand of God?
I actually liked Hand of God. I don't know if anyone else watched that.
I have never heard of it.
So this is another one on Amazon.
Hand of God, I never heard of it.
This is the one with Ron Perlman.
Amazon show?
That I knew. That what's funny? I read the description and I was interested, and then I watched the trailer and went, nah.
Yeah, I could see how you might get that from the trailer or something, though, because it got a little.
No, so this
weird.
is like one of those shows that had really high, that I had really high hopes for, and that the plot could have really high hopes for itself.
Right.
Just didn't really live up to it. I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of Ron Perlman to begin with. I don't really think he's that phenomenal.
You weren't a Beauty and the Beast fan when you were a kid?
No. Well, the animated.
Well,
No.
He knows me. But I remember the first time I showed that picture because when you started working at the warehouse.
I know what you're referencing. But
like you knew of it, I think, but you hadn't seen a picture.
No, I think I've seen it.
No, you've seen it now, but I think I showed you a picture at the job, like when you first started working at the job, and you were like, "Oh, big fan of Sons of Anarchy and stuff," and we were talking about shit. And I was like, yeah, well, that guy will always look like fucking Vincent from Beauty and the Beast. And you were like, what? And I'm like, no, just his face. Like, even without makeup, I just see that
him
weird,
and Linda Hamilton were meant to be together forever.
That's right. Don't you forget it. And I guess. And then, until the next Terminator comes. And then I think I showed you a picture, and you were like, oh, my God. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I guess I think I saw it when I was a kid, but I just don't maybe remember seeing it.
I think it might have been.
Did you know that
well before you?
They remade that show on the CW?
I heard,
and I didn't find out about it until it was canceled.
Oh, I wonder if it was any good.
Anyways, Hand to God. If you have Amazon Prime, it's kind of. I guess it's worth checking out. I mean, it's not overly amazing or anything like that, but I'd give it like a solid C.
It's an Amazon show. They're just starting out, so
yeah. Some of them, like Netflix. There's a couple of gems out of every batch. Yeah. Netflix says they're going to do 31 new shows next year.
Wow!
Like where the fuck are they going to fit them all?
They're just going to keep promoting more and more of them.
Well, that's it.
It's not like they got to have a schedule to fill. It's just having content.
Yeah.
So
well, I kind of think it's funny too because if they're going to go progressively move towards making their own original content, how long before all these other people who are putting content on their service sees them as now, your competition and our means of distribution? Weird.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but that's years out before I think
that's not going to fly. That's not going to change anything, though, because you think about it, networks, they make their own shows and they have other companies make shows too.
Well, that's fair enough. It's all kind of like cross.
So it's an existing.
That's fair enough.
It's an existing format. So.
I'm also interested because I don't think they've had a show yet that hasn't been renewed for a second season.
Like it takes them a lot to cancel something.
So I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, what's their benchmark, right? Well, they go by totally different metrics. You know what I mean? For them, it's all about
ads.
It's all about.
I think it's about downloads, but they don't release.
They don't release it, but it's much like HBO, where it's about they gauge it obviously by word of mouth, and then what seems to be garnering them subscriptions. So it's like, are we making an impact trending and word of mouth, that kind of thing, those metrics. It's not about ratings or ads because there's no ads. So like they have to watch other shit because that's how they feel like they can gauge their cultural impact, and then that to them translates to a certain number of potential subscribers.
Right, yeah. Since they can't have access to actual numbers, they have to use other sources.
But by the way, what did you guys think of Hand of God? That's where this conversation started. I can't remember.
No, I sidetracked it because I knew we were basically done.
Okay,
because you guys graded it.
I graded it. Yeah.
Okay,
I graded it with the side.
And God, I'll never see it.
There you go.
Okay.
So with that, kids, that's going to bring this adventure more or less to an end. Is that all right with everybody?
Yeah. Could we throw out Twitter handles?
We can do that. We can do some plugs to close the show.
Yeah, plugs.
You can follow Dom on Twitter at Dom_Torre, Torre. You can follow Ed on Twitter as well.
At Edward O'Hare, TBD.
TBD, as in to be decided. Also on the Twitsters. You can follow Brother Bob on the Twitsters. He's at Bob at WTPC. I'm on there at Wicked Theory. You could follow all our kind of, not follow, but there's stuff.
We're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook. The show's on Facebook. The .com. There's a Tumblr. There's Clamor. There's sources for other ways to listen to this, I guess. Something like that. All right, kids, enough. I'm dragging it out. Everyone's giving me a look. All right. While Bob is setting us up to take us out of here, don't forget, kids, we got some some special episodes coming up. We really didn't push them too much. Waiting to set everything up before we did that. But next week we're going to do some Star Warsy stuff. We'll probably do a full review with
we're gonna try and do
a split
half episode, non-spoilery. Back end of the episode, complete utter spoilers.
Giving it all away.
I don't think I'll have seen the movie by then, but we'll see.
Ed, you're just
Ed, you can just leave after halfway through that.
I was hoping for the Sunday show.
Yeah,
the Sunday morning at 9:00.
Where are you? Sidetracked. But
do you live in Oklahoma?
Where are you getting tickets? Where were you buying tickets for?
I think the stadium has like a 9:45 show
left. That's all. That's it. Like for what, Sunday?
Yeah.
I fucking fucked it up. I never got tickets. I'm fucked.
There'll be tickets.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned for next week when we don't do a Star Wars review because I'll be the only one who's seen it.
We'll see what happens next week. See what we got, kids. Come back next week, and then the week after that, though,
we're doing a year in review.
We're doing a year in review, and then the week after that,
all pop culture goodness.
All kinds of popular culturally goodness.
Stuff.
So we're gonna do all kinds of pop culture stupidness on next week's that week's episode, and then a week after that, if you're keeping track, we're gonna do maybe a look ahead into the year 2016.
Ready, Bob?
Bob, are you feeling it? Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a farmer?
He's a farmer. He's an agro man. All right, try it again. Recorded to you. It's going to be that kind of show. I need more oomph. I need a little more energy. Something like that.
I think you should put this moment at the end of the episode.
This whole breakdown right here? This will be the after credits?
Yes.
The post-credits?
The little post-credit clip I try to throw in sometimes.